Hi everyone, we are excited to have you here in today's fun-filled learning session at Uolo. Here is a quick look at how you can submit your work after the class. As a first step, go to live.uolo.com. You can use any browser to access this site. On this page, you will see a list of all our classes. Scroll down and you can see the Submit Your Work button. And then you will see a list of the classes that you've last attended, which could, for example, show the dance or craft or science experiment classes you've attended recently. Next, it will show you the list of children whose names are registered in this mobile number. Choose your name from this list to submit your work. For instance, if you are Satvik Kumar, choose that name. And then choose the class for which you would like to make your submission. For example, if you've attended the New Year's Masquerade Party session and you'd like to make the submission for this class, click on the Submit Your Work button below that. And then upload the photo you've taken. Choose the image from your phone and click Submit. You can scroll down and view all your past submissions and see how many of your friends or peers have liked your work. You can also see others' work and like their work to inspire your friends. If you want to showcase your work on social media, that too is very simple. Click on Share, copy the link and post it on Instagram or Facebook or any other platform of your choice. Just a tiny reminder, your submission looks a lot better if you could click a photo in the landscape mode rather than the portrait mode. Do not forget to tag us at YOLO_app. I'm eagerly looking forward to all your submissions right after this class.
Guys, hello everybody. Hi, I hope all of y'all are doing extremely well and having a super awesome day. In case you're not having a super awesome day, I have a fun activity for you to just make your day really, really special. Okay, just stay in and just take part in this activity for today. And for anybody who's new here, I welcome you for the class 2 of our botanicals with oil pastels. My name is Niharika and I'm going to be conducting this class. So in the previous class, we have discovered a non-conventional or an unpopular flower that was plumeria. We tried creating a realistic artwork with oil pastels. And if you remember, we just played a kind of trick in the previous class where we don't reveal the name of the plant till the end of this class. So the same thing will be applicable in today's class as well, where I will be sharing or revealing the name of the plant only once we are done with the complete artwork. So I'm going to give you ample amount of time throughout the class. And if you could just guess the name of the flower, the moment you guess the name of the flower, you could just, type it on the chat section. And in case there's nobody who could guess the name of the plant, of course, I'll be sharing the name of the plant and sharing some crazy facts about it as well. Let's stay in here and let's get started with our activity. So I need all of you to give me thumbs up that yes, ma'am, we are ready for the class and just let's begin with the fun activity and discover yet another unconventional and unpopular botanical today. Yes, give me a thumbs up that yes, ma'am, we are ready and let's get started now. I'll then quickly share the screen and we can just get started. Yes, I see the thumbs ups coming in. Let me quickly share the screen and then we can just get started. Don't worry about the art materials. You all know that I discussed the art materials very much in detail, right? Okay, so I hope you can see the screen now. Awesome. So I also see thumbs up coming in and I cannot hold my excitement anymore. So let us all get started with today's fun activity now. Okay, so first things first, we will be discussing about the art materials in detail and then we'll proceed with the fun activity, right? Awesome. So just discussing the art materials first. Number one, I'm using an A5 size white drawing paper. Okay, in case you're having an A4 size paper, just cut it into half and you will have an A5 size paper. Second, I have a pencil, a sharpened pencil. Third, I'm having these earbuds. These are cotton earbuds. I have around 2 to 3 of these. Next, I need this scale, either a short one or a ruler, anything would be fine. And fifth, we need these oil pastels. So the shades here are yellow, brown, violet, light green, dark green, white, and black. Let me quickly repeat the shades for you. That's yellow, brown, violet, light green, dark green, white, and black. So these are the shades that we need. In case you're not having any of these shades, that's totally fine again. You can just use maybe, for example, if you don't have two shades of green, that is light green and dark green, you can simply use just one shade of green that's available with you. In case you're not having white oil pastel, again, that's totally fine. You can just completely skip that part where I'm using white oil pastel. It's totally fine if you don't have 2, 3 of these shades, but just make sure that you're having a violet color, a brown color, yellow color, and a shade of green and black. Okay, and in case you're not using oil pastels, you can also use your regular crayons or you can also use your wax crayons. Anything would be totally fine. Okay, so these are the oil pastels. Since this is a course which is designed especially to explore the world of oil pastels, I'm going to be using oil pastels in this class as well. Okay, so these were the shades. So the materials are pretty much similar to the previous class, just the difference is in the shades that we are going to use for the oil pastels. And as I said, if you don't have one or two of the similar shades with you in oil pastels, it's totally fine as well. You can still take part in today's fun activity. Yes, I've just given you a good number of substitutes as well in case you're not having oil pastels. And these are again the very basic art materials that we need to create a really, really beautiful illustration. Yes, I've just given you a brief discussion, description about the art materials that we are going to use. And now let us get simply started with the fun activity. Okay. So first, I'm going to take the scale, the ruler, and the pencil. I'm going to draw these margins on 4 sides. Again, if you're not having scale, you can just simply skip this process. But if you're having a ruler and a pencil or a scale and a pencil, make sure you're drawing these thick margins on all 4 sides of the sheet. Okay, so I'll take a little back here. Let's start from here. I give a thick margin. If you see, I'm just giving a thicker margin to all the 4 sides of the sheet. So just giving a margin, a thick margin to the 4 sides of the sheet. Okay, on to the last side now. Okay, so we are drawing these margins just to make our artworks look a little neater. And in case you're not drawing margins, that's totally fine again as well. Okay, so in case you have drawn margins, make sure you're making the illustration inside the margins only. We are not going to go beyond these margins. We are going to stay within these margins only. All right, so we have just completed with giving these margins. If you see, I've just taped down the paper so that it doesn't move. You can just completely skip this process. You can ignore this process. But this is just the taping that I've done so that the paper doesn't move in front of the screen. Okay, so I've just done that and I'm going to stay within the margins. Okay, so again, a quick reminder to just stay within the margins that you have drawn. And in case you have not drawn margins, you can just completely ignore this point. All right. Now you need your pencil handy again. We are going to just create a rough sketch. Take your pencils. Let me zoom in a little for you. Okay, awesome. So just first, everybody is going to keep your materials down. You're going to all observe on the screen how I create a rough sketch. And when I say, you can draw along with me. When I repeat, you can draw along. All right. So first, all of your materials down and just observe on the screen. Okay. So roughly at the central portion, I create an oval shape. This is not too large, not too small, but a medium-sized oval that I'm drawing. And then I draw a curve on the above section as well. So just above the curve, above the oval, I draw a curve. So just look at the distance with which I'm drawing. So this is the distance that I've left above the oval shape, and I've drawn a curved line above it. Yes. And now carefully look how I give a curved line below as well, but there's something different. This time I'm going to leave a little bit of more distance from the oval. So can you spot this distance? Look at this distance and just spot the difference in this distance. So the curve which is below the oval is going to be a little far from the oval shape. Okay. So there's another curved line, and then we'll simply join these curved lines, creating an oval. This pretty much looks like a donut to us, isn't it? So that's a donut that I'm kind of drawing, but hold on, it's not a donut that we're creating in today's class. Okay, so now all of you all can take your pencils and I'm going to repeat it for you so you can just start drawing along with me. All right. Taking you a step back. Okay. So first I draw a oval, a medium-sized oval. Okay. Then above this oval shape, I create a curved line with a little bit of distance in between the two. So that's the first curved line that I create. So could you observe this first curved line? That's the first curved line around the oval shape that I'm creating. Don't worry, it is just a rough sketch that we are creating over here. All right, so it's just a rough sketch. You need not be extremely perfect over here. Okay, look at this distance now and leave a little bit of more distance as compared to the top portion and draw another curved line, thereby just joining these two, creating an oval shape. Yes, this pretty much looks like a donut as I said, but it is not the donut that we are creating in today's class. This is the basic sketch, the rough guideline we are drawing for our illustration. Next, I'm going to just draw these two curved lines again, just as the stem. So I'm just drawing these two curved lines below like a stem. Okay, that is the rough sketch that I've drawn. And now we are going to draw some petals. So again, just carefully observe at this process first and just look at the shape of the petal. This is an elongated petal. So if you just see, it is longer and a little thinner than the regular normal flower petals. So this one is longer, and just observe, I extend this petal only up till this outer oval shape that I have drawn. So this outer oval shape is just as a guideline for our petals, that our petals need not be moving extremely out of this oval shape. So whatever petals we try to keep them within this larger oval only. Okay. So I'm going to draw another one next to it, and this time it is a comparatively smaller petal in size. I've just drawn a petal which is reaching right till the end of this oval, the outside oval, and then I draw a smaller oval. Okay. Just the similar process. We are going to completely fill this area with petals, and you can just make these petals larger or smaller, but within this oval shape only. Just within this oval shape, you can create these petals. The beauty of this flower is that it doesn't have necessarily same size of petals. It has some petals which might be tiny towards the center. So you can also go ahead and give these tiny petals if you want. Okay, so I'm just going to give some tiny petals, and behind it, I'm going to give some larger petals. Just drawing these petals around. You all can again start doing the same thing. It's just simply creating these petals, and you can just play with the size of the petals, but it should be within the oval shape only. If you see, I'm just adding these petals, some smaller, and then behind it, I add another petal as well. Okay, so I'm just drawing these petals now. So I'm going to go all over with the petals to make it look like a flower. And I hope you have observed the shape of this petal. It is slightly elongated. It is slightly longer in size. Okay, so I'm just going to continue with the petals on the top section as well. The top section might have petals which are a little smaller as compared to the lower ones because of the distance of the oval. If you remember, the distance between the central oval and the outer oval here was a little less as compared to this distance. This is simply because we are going to give a different perspective, a different view to our flower. Okay, so we're giving a different view to our flower, and hence it's totally fine if the upper petals are smaller. That's how we are trying to make it look. Yes, if you see, I'm just going ahead with the same technique of drawing these, some larger, some smaller, and I try to stay within the oval shape as far as possible. Okay, and I'm done. If you see, I'm just done with the petals. And in case you have missed a little bit of it, I'm just quickly repeating it for you from here. So we just keep drawing these elongated long petals throughout the oval shape. And you can just add one or two of these smaller petals to make it a more natural look, to give it a more natural look. And there we go. So just adding these elongated petal shape, just drawing a rough sketch. Awesome. So if you see, we have just created the flower, the top section with the petals it has. And then now we are moving to the leaves. So the leaves of this particular flower are also different in their shape. So first you need to just carefully observe, and then you can just draw. Okay, so just near to the stem, I'm drawing this first curved line. That's the first curved line that I draw. And then I draw another curved line. Okay, just look at these two curved lines. Just like the petals of this particular flower are elongated, are longer, even the leaves of the flower is long. Okay, don't worry, I'm going to again repeat it for you. Okay. Here's a quick recap. We draw the petals, and then we move on to the leaves. Just near to the stem, that's the first curve that I draw. That is the first curve. The first curve near to the stem, and then I'm going to draw another curve below it. Similarly, on the opposite side, that's the first curve and the second curve. Okay, we are just done with creating a rough sketch for our flower, for our botanical illustration. I don't see any of the guesses yet in the comment section, in the chat section, but let's see if anybody could guess this when we add colors to this particular flower. Okay, so time to grab your colors now, grab your oil pastels, and let us start by getting in with some colors to this beautiful illustration. Okay, so I'm going to start by using these oil pastels now. So first, I'm going to take this brown oil pastel. That's a brown oil pastel. In case you're not having a brown oil pastel, you can use an orange oil pastel as well, or a red oil pastel as well. Okay, I'm using a brown oil pastel, and just carefully observe. I'm going to add a little bit of brown strokes to the central oval only, and only at the bottom part. Okay, so I've just added these rough strokes at the bottom part, and then I use a earbud and blend it with the paper. So we all know this blending technique by now. This is again the similar technique that we used in our previous class as well. So I'm just blending the color nicely with paper. Okay, in case you haven't followed this, here's a quick recap for you. We give a layer of brown at the central section, only at the bottom part of the central oval. Then we take the earbud and blend it well with the paper. So just moving the earbud over the color layer, and we blend it nicely with the paper so that it has a smooth effect. Okay, now we are going to take this yellow color, and we are going to add color on the top section now. Just above the brown section, we are going to add yellow color. Again, if you see, I've just added this yellow color now. And this time you can simply use your fingers and just blend a little bit of it. So just move your fingers a little bit towards the center. Here's a quick recap. We first add a layer of yellow above the brown, and then we just make use of our fingers, and then we just move it at the central section to blend it nicely. Okay, and then I'm taking this brown shade again. I'm going to just, tap this at the yellow section, and it will automatically create these dots. So just tap the color lightly on the yellow area, and it will automatically create these dots. Just tap this area. If you just see that tapping effect, that dots that we are creating at the central area are nothing but the pollens of this flower. So if you just observe any flower at the central area, it has some tiny dots and something like a smaller version of a plant, smaller something central section to it. Those central section are called as the pollens of the flower. Okay, so that's the pollen that we have created. And if you want to just get a thicker brown layer, you can just add color at the bottom section. So I've just added a little bit of more brown color, and then just adding some more pollens. Nice dots at the top. But you see, we have just created the central part of this flower. That is, the central part is nothing but the pollen area of this flower. Okay, so I hope you are done with the central section as well. And it's time to move to the petals now. I'm going to make use of violet color over here. In case you're not having violet color, don't worry. You can make use of a pink color as well, because the same flower has different species which is available in pink color as well, but I'm going to make use of violet color, and as I said, if you don't have violet, you can use pink color as well. Again, just carefully observe. I'll start by giving simple light strokes to towards the start of this petal. So just near to the center, I simply give these strokes, not over the whole petal, only towards the center. Just towards the center, I start by giving these strokes lightly with oil pastels. So I'm just giving these strokes, creating a line with the violet oil pastel, and I do the same throughout the flower, just towards the center. Remember to keep it towards the center first. Start from the center. Start by giving strokes, not to the entire petal, but only towards the bottom section, the section which is closer to the center. Okay, just done like this. I'm quickly going to repeat the same for you. So let me take you a little back. Let's start from here. We just start by giving these simple strokes at the central portion of the flower. Just giving simple strokes now. Okay. And I'm moving it only towards the central area only. Okay, there we go. So once I'm done with giving the stroke with violet color, don't use the same side of the earbud. Use a fresh side, a cleaner side of the earbud this time. And then just blend it nicely with the paper. And this time you could just take it towards the entire petal. So did you observe this particular petal? I've just moved the earbud till the end of this petal. So start from the central section where you have added color and start by moving in circular motions till the end of this petal. Okay, so we're going to repeat the same thing for the entire row of petals that we have drawn. Just start by smudging, blending it nicely, blending the color nicely. Make sure you're moving the earbud in the entire area of the petal this time. So initially, we just added color to the central section, the portion where the petal is closer to the center. But when we smudge, we are going to smudge it in the entire petal. Okay, so automatically there will be a little bit of color that will move throughout the petal this time. Yes. So you see, I'm just repeating the same for all the petals now. So just moving in circular manners and blending it nicely. Just the similar technique. Just blend it nicely with the paper. Don't be too harsh because then you just end up tearing your paper. Alright. So just blending it nicely. Don't worry if you still see some white gaps. We'll just make sure to cover those, but don't hurry up. Try to be along with me as far as possible. Okay, just blend it nicely. Okay, so you can see we had just added a portion of color to the central area and then we blended it towards the entire petal. So here's a quick recap for anybody who didn't follow it up till here. So if you see, I just start blending, that is moving my earbud into circular motions right till the end of this petal, so that I end up getting a little bit of shade of purple or violet till the end of the petals as well. That's what I do for all the petals. Okay. So if you just see, it's the central area which has a lot of concentrated violet color. There's a darker shade of violet color appearing towards the center portion of the flower, and when you look at the petals at the outside area, it's a little lighter in shade. So what you can do now is just randomly on few petals that you want to give, you can give the same strokes that you gave at the central section, but need not give it at all the petals because then you will just make the flower look too dark. So just randomly on few petals, if you see, I'm just randomly adding color to few petals. I'm not adding to all the petals, just randomly few. I'm adding the same top strokes. So just be random at giving these strokes at the top section. Just similar strokes at the top section. And then we see randomly adding violet to the top section of few petals. Then again, we'll start blending. But before I blend, I'm going to take you a little back for a recap. So just randomly to the top portion. If you see, I'm just repeating the same process, the same technique of adding light strokes with violet color itself. So just randomly on few petals that you want to give a darker tone, you can add a little bit of violet strokes at the top side of the petal as well. Okay, so now we are going to just follow the same process of blending it, and then we'll blend it again. So since this time we have added a layer of oil pastel or color to the top section, we're going to move the earbud at the top section only. Okay, that's what I'm doing for all the petals now. Wherever you have added this violet top petal layer, we are going to blend it nicely with the earbud. In case you're not having earbuds, you can just simply do the same technique with your fingers as well. Okay, so I'm just done with blending this. And then, in case you're having a white oil pastel, now carefully listen to me. If you're not having a white oil pastel, you can just completely skip this process. But since I have a white oil pastel, I'm just going to go ahead and add some tiny strokes in between the petals. So if you see again randomly in few of these petals, I just give a layer of white. And again, as I said, if you don't have a white oil pastel, just completely skip this process, just ignore this process. If you're having a white color, I'm not going to waste much of time over here. I'm again just simply giving white strokes in between random petals. And then I'm going to smudge it, blend it with a fresh earbud only. So again, just blending it nicely. The fresh earbud, as I said. Okay, there we go. Make sure you're adding a little bit of color to each petal, throughout each of the petals. Okay, almost there. As I said, I'll be a little quick at this process because this is similar, and I'm guessing that you may not be having a white oil pastel, but in case you're having it, you can just follow the same technique. And in case you haven't, there's not such a big difference if you use white, but just for a little effect, I've used white shade as well. So we're done with the flower part of it. Now let's just move to the stem and the leaves. So I'm going to make a dark green color. As I said, if you're using just one shade of green, you can just fill color throughout the stem and the leaf. But on one side now, I give this dark green color, and on the other side, I'll give this light green color. On one side, I give the dark green color, other side, I give a layer of light green. And then I just simply use my fingers and blend it. So this is a tiny portion. It will not take much time to blend. but here's a quick recap for you. Just on one side, I give a dark green color. That's a dark green color. On the other side, then I give a light green color. That's a light green. And then I just smudge it nicely with my finger. And the similar technique for the leaves as well. On the bottom portion of this leaf, I add the dark green color. On the bottom portion, similarly on the other leaf as well, just at the bottom portion, I add the dark green. On the top portion, I add a layer of light green. Similarly on the other leaf as well. Again, using my fingers, blend it with. I think this was pretty much simple to follow. It was just a combination of light green and dark green and a shading effect that we created on the stem and the leaves. Now, just around this flower, just randomly, you can draw a similar kind of a stem. So I'm just drawing this directly with the oil pastel. So I draw a line with dark green and then I add a layer of light green and then smudge it well. Just blend it well. I add some leaves, some tiny leaves again. Give a top portion with light green. Similarly on the other side as well. So this time I've not drawn something with pencil. I'm just randomly creating this leaf and the stem just directly with oil pastel. So it need not be extremely perfect. It can be just a rough stem and a leaf, kind of creating an illusion that there's another flower at the back. So just adding a little bit of leaf at the top portion as well. So there's a little bit of gap that I have at the top portion. I'm going to add a long leaf there as well. Just if you observed, even the leaves of this flower are elongated, right? So if you see, I've just added two of these leaves around the the flower as well with oil pastels. So these are again rough and you can completely skip it if you like your artworks just the way they are. So I'm again going to complete this. So now, if you feel that you like your artworks just like this, you can keep it this way as well. But as we all know, we are trying to make our artworks look as realistic as possible. So just to give it a realistic touch, I'm going to add a background to this one as well. If you remember the previous class, I did give a background with black as well. So similarly, in this class as well, I'm going to add a layer of black, add a layer of black background to give it a more realistic look. So in case you're liking your artworks just like this, you can keep it like this, make your submissions just like this. In case you want to add a background just like me, you can just follow what I do. Yes, so let's get started with the background now. That's the most favorite part for the illustration now. So now I'm just going to add a corner with this stem. You can just completely skip this. I've just created a stem at the top portion as well. Now I'm going to add a layer of black. So first I just cover the corners with black. And as you know, it's fine if you have a little bit of white gap while coloring, because once we smudge it with our fingers, it will all get covered up. I'm going to just start by giving black below the leaves near the stem. Similarly for the other part as well. Just covering the gaps that I see, the white spaces that we see with black. I'm going to create a background with black and dark green. So I'm first completing all the areas with black, and make sure you're not adding any colors inside the flower. Make sure you're giving a nice black layer around the flower. You can just create an outline with the black oil pastel first before you just color it randomly. So if you could just see, I've just first added this background, this outline around the flower. And then I'll just simply add this black color. Okay, there we go. On the top section now. So as we all know that even if you have these white spaces in between the black color that you're adding, when we smudge it, when we blend it with our fingers, this will all get away with. This will all be covered when we smudge it nicely with our fingers. So don't worry. Now I'm taking this dark green color to fill up the balanced spaces, just to create a shading of black and dark green. I'm just going with these spaces again, and then I'm giving a layer of dark green here. So just next to the black portion, I'm giving a layer of dark green. I'm going a little quick here again, because this is something which is extremely similar to the process we followed in the previous class. The thing of adding background is completely on your choice. If you like it, if you want to give it a realistic look, you can add a background. And if you like your artworks just the way they are, you can go ahead with that. If you see, I've just roughly given a background to it. And now when I smudge, when I blend it nicely with my fingers or the earbud, whichever tool you want to use, we will end up covering all the white spaces that we have. Just going to use my fingers. You can also use a earbud if you want. But I'll use my fingers and just make sure that you're staying within the margins. You're not moving beyond that. See, that was a quick reminder for you. Stay within the margins only. I'm just smudging it nicely with my fingers only. I started from the top section. I move my fingers at the areas where I've given black and dark green to cover up all the white spaces between the color. If you see now, when we smudge it, when we blend it, we automatically get rid of the white spaces that were there. Okay. So now at tiny areas where your fingers couldn't reach, we'll give it with this cotton earbud. So just around the flower first, because we don't want to ruin the shape of the flower. So just the curved lines around the flower, I'm going to blend it with the earbud. Okay. Just blending it so that I get rid of all the white spaces between the color layer that I have. Okay, there we go. And I'm almost there. So just covering up all the white spaces to give it a good background, a good shaded background. So if you again see, I'm just done with giving this background to my flower. And it's time to reveal the name of this flower. So this flower is called as an aster. I repeat, it is an aster flower. The beauty of this flower is that it has elongated leaves. It has elongated petals as well. So it has elongated leaves. It has elongated petals. And just towards the center portion of this flower, there are few petals which are smaller in size as well. So we have the pollens at the central section. Then we have elongated petals. Some of these petals are smaller in size. That is exactly the beauty of nature. Not everything is perfect in nature. Nature also makes some imperfections and still has some beautiful creations. Here's what we have created. It is an aster flower, and we tried making a realistic portrait, a realistic artwork with the help of oil pastels. So that's our artwork for today. Okay, so I hope all of y'all enjoyed making this aster flower with me. All of y'all enjoyed discovering different parts of the flower with me, learning more about nature. So I hope all of y'all are going to make your submissions right on time. And I'm going right away to check your submissions now once after this class is done. Okay, so I hope all of y'all enjoyed this class, and I'll see you in the next class with yet another discovery of nature. Okay, so I'll see you in the next class. Please take care of yourself. Bye bye.
Hi everyone, we are excited to have you here in today's fun-filled learning session at Uolo. Here is a quick look at how you can submit your work after the class. As a first step, go to live.uolo.com. You can use any browser to access this site. On this page, you will see a list of all our classes. Scroll down and you can see the Submit Your Work button. And then you will see a list of the classes that you've last attended, which could, for example, show the dance or craft or science experiment classes you've attended recently. Next, it will show you the list of children whose names are registered in this mobile number. Choose your name from this list to submit your work. For instance, if you are Satvik Kumar, choose that name. And then choose the class for which you would like to make your submission. For example, if you've attended the New Year's Masquerade Party session and you'd like to make the submission for this class, click on the Submit Your Work button below that. And then upload the photo you've taken. Choose the image from your phone and click Submit. You can scroll down and view all your past submissions and see how many of your friends or peers have liked your work. You can also see others' work and like their work to inspire your friends. If you want to showcase your work on social media, that too is very simple. Click on Share, copy the link and post it on Instagram or Facebook or any other platform of your choice. Just a tiny reminder, your submission looks a lot better if you could click a photo in the landscape mode rather than the portrait mode. Do not forget to tag us at YOLO_app. I'm eagerly looking forward